Hello, welcome back to Constituent Marking with Fred Long on Proof Text, and I am Fred Long, and we're just making great progress working through 1 Thessalonians. We're in verse 6, and what's happening here is that we saw in verse 5, there was a couple utes, which means like neither nor or something like that, and here we're just getting a pileup of these. Uta, the negative part of uta is an adverb, and so we put a dotted circle around adverbs. But the te is indeed a type of connector, and it marks similarity, like adding something in and similarity. So it's tacking on something and then showing like it's adding something similar to the setting or the scene and narrative, or here to the idea that's being developed. And so the uta is piling on, and probably the best way to translate would be, in this case, nor. Now we saw in the previous verse 5 that there was a neither nor, and so here this nor is adding on. So what is Paul adding on? And we're going to see here that what he's adding on is, I'm going to use red. Seeking, zeituntes. Now this is a post-nuclear circumstantial participle. We'll call it a CP. It's a circumstantial participle. People might call them adverbial, but that's not the best way to call them or think of them. This is a present active participle, masculine nominative plural. Paul's talking about himself and company. So seeking, nor seeking. Now what were they seeking? Doxon, double underline for doxon. So uta zeituntes ex anthropon doxon. Ek anthropos is a prepositional phrase, and so receives a parentheses. So nor, and here I think we could resupply the verb from the previous sentences, which is we came or became. Let me see if I can write this out, what that verb is. Yen, they men. So that's the verb from the previous sentence that was re-understood and re-understood. Okay, I'll just go back there. Here it is, right there. I'll put it in pink. That's the verb. This verb was resupplied down here, and I'm suspecting that it's re-understood here. Nor did we come seeking, or nor were we seeking. Now it's kind of tricky because this verb can mean like become, or it can mean come. Now it has more to do with becoming, but it's used in some senses in context where it seems like this idea of arriving or being someplace is present. Now this presents kind of an interesting situation, because if this is indeed resupplied right here, then zeituntes, I might have to take back that I was saying this is a circumstantial participle, because it would actually then be a periphrastic. We were seeking. We came seeking. So I'm a little bit of a mixed mind of how to take that. Nor were we seeking glory from people. In either case, I would just give it a single underline. That's not a problem. Single underline, because it is acting as the verbal idea of its clause. And the question is it a subordinate clause or an equal added in? implied periphrastic participle. And I think I would do implied periphrastic. Nor were we seeking. Now remember that periphrastic participles are participles that involve either verb like imi, but it also can work with yinome. And I can take you to examples of that. There is a really intense periphrastic participle construction, or at least it's either periphrastic or I think it is periphrastic. It's 2 Corinthians, I think it's 6:14. Do not be unequally yoked. And it's a command form, but also periphrastic at the same time. Do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. So there is a bit of a marking up or intensification with yinome being used as the verb working with the periphrastic participle construction. So did we come seeking, or were we seeking glory from people, neither from you nor from others. So this uta, the second uta, is another layer of, it's not indicating a new clause as much as adding in denying alternatives. So it's kind of like a denial. The uta is denying neither this nor that. And here you've got to switch from ek, x to af. And there's a slight difference there. And that would need to be explained. Like what is the exact difference? I usually think of X as like out of, but maybe off is stressing more the origins. But ek and off are overlapping in that regard. But it is interesting to note that difference and why that difference, because it seems like as Paul hunkers down and specifies the denial that he was not seeking glory from people, neither from you nor from others, that he does switch from the ek to the af, apo, which, af is from apo. And so that does seem to be deliberate. But maybe that's to kind of hunker down and get very specific into the weeds as he's moving into particulars. Maybe apo construes it just a little bit differently than X. Yeah, don't know. All right, so that's what's going on here. He's adding in another idea. Neither were we seeking, I think it's periphrastic, glory from people. And then you have a comma, neither from you nor from others. It's really a move from the more general idea of people to then specify to other groups, you or others. All right. Well, that's how I'd mark up that verse. I hope you found this helpful, and look forward to having you watch and listen next time. Take care.